gentlemen, boys, and girls, welcome back to Soap Lore, the official gathering place for newbies, novices, and OG diehard fans of the golden age of primetime. I'm your host, Jet, still viewing and reviewing the soapiest, seddiest primetime storylines of 1985. We are 3 years forward, on the West Coast doing the absolute most. Whether you're new to this or true to this, sit back and enjoy. Tell the kids it's time to play outside or out of sight. Save no questions, suggestions, or concerns for the next 25 to 35 minutes. Everyone else in earshot, be cool, be quiet, or you will be kicked out because we are watching our stories. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Soap Lore. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back, party people, to another fun-filled edition of Soap Lore. Guaranteed good time. Back on the West Coast watching Falcon, Crest, and this was so entertaining. I love pedal to the metal version of Falcon Crest. They're doing things a little bit differently this season, and I'm already here for it. So, per usual, I hope your day is shaping up well. I feel like you smell amazing. I hope you are prepared for some foolishness. Go ahead and pour yourself up something bubbly and bright. Season 5, Episode 3 of Falcon Crest, Blood Brothers. This episode really made me think about the brothers in Hollywood. Of course, you got the Hemsworths. Back in the day, you had the Baldwins. There's not a lot today now. I can't think of very many. I know the Jonas Brothers, I think 2 of them act, but we need to bring back the family of talented individuals. I feel like it's way more common in music than it is in acting. I love a good and talented family. I do think in acting, though, a lot of time people want to carve out their own lane. Think Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen. Did he or did he not dodge a bullet, Emilio Estevez? Anyway, Falcon Crest, big things happening. Action-packed without there being anything explosive. Blood Brothers introduces yet another baddie to the franchise, and this time I'm proud to announce it is a gentleman. It is a silver-haired fox who's got a huge thing for our girl Angela Channing. Let's begin at the beginning. So at the top of the show, we see bad girl Melly Mel on top of her trusty steed, minding her own business, when one of her foremen comes over to her and announces, "Hey, there's some weirdo here stirring up the people." She's like, "Not on my watch." Rides her horse over to a tree where you can see her workers scatter, and a man in a wife beater and a pair of painted on Wranglers with an ascot. Actually, I don't know if it's an ascot or is it just a bandana tied around his neck. Either way, it's past the panty droppers, unbeknownst to bad girl Melly Mel. All she sees is some guy stirring the pot. So as she rides up, he says something slick like, "Oh, you must be really important. I haven't seen people scatter like that in a long time." She's like, "Sir, can I help you? What do you want? Why are you out here harassing my workers?" "I'm not harassing anybody. I'm just having a conversation." "Have a conversation outside of my premises, okay? Get off my property, homeboy." Now, Pastor Panty Droppers is a bold young man. I don't know what he learned in the convent, but whatever it is, he's on his social justice warrior tip. He came out the gate swinging. So he's petting Melissa's horse, and I could tell the horse doesn't like it. It's like jerking its head all around. As she kicks him out, it's very clear that the only reason this whole scene happened is 2 reasons. I just said the only reason this scene happened was 2 reasons. The only couple of reasons this scene happened is, number 1, we need to establish the enemies to lovers trope. I'm calling it now. I know chemistry when I see it. And you know what? They have chemistry. They have more chemistry than she and Lance, and she has more chemistry with him than she does Cole. He is enjoying the fact that she's a little bit irritated. She is not enjoying the fact that he is playing with her money. But she's also a woman, so it is not missed that this man is a little bit sweaty. He's in a wife beater. His body is built. And as she kicks him off of her property, we all got a fantastic view of his whole backside. Now, y'all know what y'all's doing. You're making people feel real uncomfortable. That man is a priest, okay? You're making a lot of the girls out here real uncomfortable, but everybody is looking like, okay, he's fine, he's smirking. Okay, I see you. I feel like that was a direct slap to my face for calling him goofy, but I mean, I stand by what I said. First intro, he was goofy. He is an attractive man, and he knows it because Falcon Crest knows who's fine and who isn't, which is also why Lance, later on in the episode, is in a full-blown Speedo. We'll get to that, though. How dare this bum come onto my property and tell me how to treat my people? That's basically what he's pointing out. He's pointing out the fact that these people are poor, they're underrepresented. He feels like she's taking advantage of them, and she feels like he don't know the land, he don't know the lay of the land, and he definitely don't know her. So mind your business. He also does not know that he is heir apparent to Falcon Crest. He does not know that he has a baby brother. Speaking of baby brothers, someone with a very similar heritage as he, Chase Giaberti, has got a problem. You see, last time he went home, there was a letter left on his table from his amnesiac wife saying that she needed to leave. She has fled him. Chase put two and two together. All of his problems equals Angela. 4 plus 4 equals Angela. 19 times 47 equals Angela. The square root of all of my problems, except my hair, is Angela Perm Rod Channing. So he does the only natural thing to do. He storms over there to curse her out. Now, she stays ready. She is completely unbothered in her freshly painted study as he continues to lay into her. What did you tell my amnesiac wife? I told her nothing, Chase. Calm down. You told her something. She's like, you know what? Yeah, I did. I told her what a wonderful, caring young man you are. You must be a ball to live with. She's so lucky to be her wife, his wife, your wife. Chase is like, all right, let me find out. Let me find out that you said something slick to her. It's gonna be a whole problem. She's like, yeah. That's cool. I'll wait. Bye, baby. I think that Chase Giaberti has entered his bad boy era. He wants his wife back. He was a little more aggressive than normal. He's about to steal all of his champagne back. He's threatening old lady. It's a different side of him. He's not quite the Boy Scout he always has been. And I think that's because now we have a real Boy Scout that showed up. Mind you, 3 episodes in, I know a whole lot can change. But if you got a priest who is also an orphan, who also seems to be some sort of social justice warrior, do we really need 2 of those on the same show? We don't. This kid is giving Chase the grace and space that he needs to become a little bit more like his auntie. After Chase leaves her study, the manimal is like, yo, I got a guy we need to talk to. I've been thinking about this whole Anna and Cassandra thing, and things just aren't stacking up. It's just not coming. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't it sound funny to you? Angela's like, I mean, yeah, but what sounds funny is one thing. What we can prove is funny is the point. He's like, I got you. I think I know a guy who was there at the time. We're gonna have him stop by. He's gonna fill us in. So at some point in the show, this guy in the valley, last name O'Neill, comes by, and Angela and the manimal ask him, do you remember that fire from umpteen years ago down at this vineyard? He's like, oh, yeah. So what had happened was, me and my homeboy were out walking. We see the smoke. We end up climbing up to the 2nd floor, and we save 2 little kids. We can see that there's a grown man in there, and the grown man is like pushing the kids out the window. So we go, after we get the kids on the ground, we go back to help him, and that's when the whole roof collapsed. We weren't able to save him. Angela's like, dang, that's crazy. That sucks. So I heard he was smoking cigarettes in bed. Mr. O'Neill is a little bit messy, or perhaps he's been wanting to spill the tea for many, many years. He said, well, let me tell you something. Quiet as kept. Ain't no way. The fire was started in the stairwell. In the stairwell? In the stairwell. Well, how do you know that? Baby, because there was gasoline all over it. What? Gasoline? Yes. Now, this is completely contrary to the story that Anna has been telling her children and everyone else all this time. So the manimal, being the lawyer, is sticking to the facts. Okay, but what about Anna? Yeah, Anna was outside. I guess this is the guy talking, Mr. O'Neill. Anna was outside. I guess she got hurt trying to escape, but she was just outside. The kids and the husband were upstairs. They thank Mr. O'Neill. He leaves. Angela and the manimal start talking. The manimal's like, okay, so Anna says that her husband was smoking a cigarette in bed. Apparently he was drunk. He forgot the kids were there. Whoop-de-whoop. if she was trying to save them, it doesn't really seem like it if she was outside. Well, Angela goes, okay, well, let's devil's advocate here. What if he did want to end his life? The manimal says that doesn't make sense. Why would he want to end his life if he was in love with Julia, if he knew Julia had his baby? He's depressed. Didn't seem like he was depressed to me. Angela's like, you right, you right, you right. Then the manimal says, plus, how often does someone start, if someone is starting a fire, accidentally or on purpose, you're probably not gonna, if you're starting it on purpose, you're not going to start it at the top of the stairs. Like, and I have to agree with him, whether this man was in his right mind or not, it goes against your animal instincts. You're not going to set yourself up in a way that you couldn't get out and then fight to get out. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really make sense. If he was suicidal, he probably would have started the fire elsewhere or done something else. It doesn't take long for the manimal or Angela to come to the conclusion that Anna started that fire. I'm so glad they planted that seed last season, saying that she was outside. That has always kind of set kind of weird to me, considering the amount of stress that Cassandra was under. Like, they were clearly left in the house. The only people, maybe he didn't know they were in the house, their dad. That is a possibility, but the moment he figured it out, he tries to get them out. So she was gonna burn them kids too, if I'm listening to this correctly. Angela doesn't have very long to contemplate all this because the phone rings and it's her rich, wealthy homeboy who's back from the seven seas, Mr. Peter Stavros. Now, Peter is a fine young old man who apparently is still very, very sweet on one Angela Channing. She is very blunt with him. I am about to lose my place. This heifer, who my daughter used to sleep with her husband, we got beef or whatever. Apparently, she's got it out for me. I need you to step in, Peter. And they immediately began to formulate a plan because Peter is like dumb wealthy. He's so wealthy. His companies run so well that he's kind of bored, is what it seems like. He's bored, and plus, like I said, he has a huge thing for Angela Channing. And apparently, shout out to my friend in Oregon. I think are you saying your name was Dal? I hope I'm saying that right. Dal told me that by the end of season 5, Jane Wyman, aka Big Perm, aka Angela Channing, reportedly earned $3 million a year, which is 10 times that of her ex-husband Ronald Reagan's salary when he was the president of the United States. When Nancy Reagan was biting off Angela Channing's, aka Jane Wyman's, style left and right, $3 million a year, and worth every penny. For those of you wondering, the rate of inflation, $3 million is about $9 million today. $9 million a year. I love this so much. I love to see full-grown men and women, people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, really living their life. She deserves it. She's a fine actress. She's been acting at this point since the 30s. Yeah, she's worth that $3 million. And apparently, Peter Stavros thinks Angela Channing is too. So he immediately gets to work. He goes over to Cassandra and Anna's place, or actually it's Cassandra's firm, and he offers to invest in this whole resort pipe dream that they have. Now, Anna seems to be just happy. She's not really thinking that deeply about it. But Cassandra is like, sir, I gotta be honest, I didn't expect somebody like you to be interested in something like this. Now, this is where Peter Stavros lets us know that he's that dude. Why, what did you expect? You thought I'd be flying around the world or being on banana boats selling stuff and dating the hottest women in the world? And Cassandra's like, I mean, well, yeah, actually, I kind of did. And he's like, well, you know, I can do both, baby. Anna thinks this is the perfect time to go ahead and dig into his personal life. She said, now, is it true I read in the tabloids you had a thing with the princess? He said, every word, Anna, every word. I am him. I am a playboy. I'm old. Got a lot of money, and I like the broads, and they like me. He's clearly the George Clooney of this season. So Cassandra is more, the more she talks to him, the more convinced she is that he's actually interested in this resort. So she tells him, I'll send you over all the information you need. He said, no need to do that. I already have all the information I need. I did my research. I did my homework. That's how I turned my father's one boat into this whole empire. Plus, I don't really need to study anymore because I know you guys have a vendetta. You have a thing out for Angela Channing. So why don't you just sell me your little thing? I'll set up the resort. She'll lose her wine business, and that'll be that. This pisses Anna off. She's like, no, there's no price for that. No, absolutely not. She still wants to have her hand in it so she can make sure that this place is destroyed in the way that she sees fit, which is very smart because Peter's whole life, he's not going to destroy it. He's just going to give it back to Angela. Time will tell. Time will tell. Plus, if Angela now knows that Anna had something to do with her husband burning to death, it's going to get very messy. She almost has them right where she wants them. I don't think Angela's going to pass up the opportunity to drive a wedge between the relationship between Cassandra and her mother. So I give it a few more episodes before she dismantles all that. But in the meantime, in between time, she has much bigger problems, i.e., Father Christopher, who's walking around as a full-blown member of her family, and he's none the wiser. Now, this is something that the Manimal had warned. He warned Angela about. So let's rewind just a little bit. Chase comes over to cuss her out. She sends him on his way. They investigate that O'Neill guy. The O'Neill guy leaves. Angela gets a phone call from Peter. She didn't even say bye. She just hangs up the phone. And for whatever reason, the Manimal's British manners get the best of him. And he's like, my God, Angela, you don't even say goodbye when you hang up the phone. And she's like, you know the phone call is over when I hang up. When you hear the dial tone click, that means it's over. Anyway, I got to go see a man about some money. The Manimal says, yeah. You're starting to make a lot of enemies, Angela. You've got a lot of skeletons in the closet. The biggest one being this living, breathing priest of a kid walking around here. What are you going to do about that? What if Chase finds out that that's your grandson? Now, what would Chase do with that information? I'm sure I don't know. Like, why would he care? What does that change? He doesn't care. Chase only cares about Maggie and Champagne, and right now, he doesn't have either one of them. Maggie does come back by the house wearing the brightest yellow she could muster just to let him down. Hey, Chase. He's all, don't hey me. I can't believe you left here. You've been avoiding me from the beginning. This is terrible. You better change this. I know. I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry I left you a letter. He says, yeah, the letter made it sound like you were never coming back. Well, I don't know if I'm never coming back, but I'm definitely not coming back now. What do you mean? Well, Chase, I mean, I don't know who I was, but I need to figure out who I am, and I can't do that here with you. I need to be alone so I can think and I can write, and I just need space. I just need space. She's able to do this because Maggie figured out how to get over to Richard Channing. So she shows up unannounced at his office. He opens the door and she's like, hi, do you know who I am? She keeps forgetting that she's the one with amnesia, not anybody else. He's like, of course I do, Maggie. Come on in. It's so good to see you. They go to lunch. They get right to it. She says, listen, I need to know what I was doing over at your house on the day I lost my memory. Richard has the opportunity to rewrite history. He's treading very lightly because he doesn't really know what she knows. And quite frankly, they didn't have the opportunity to discuss what was happening. They simply were holding each other, started making out, and then the whole world went kaboom. So he does seem hesitant, and she's able to pick up on that, but he chooses not to lie. He tells her, well, you came over. My stepdaughter Lorraine had just passed away. You were upset. She goes, well, were we having an affair? He says, I got to be honest, Maggie, I've always been envious of Chase and you, but no, we weren't having an affair. We weren't having one. We did kiss. We did when? We were kissing, and then a couple seconds later, the bomb went off. So, I mean, but I promise you, it never went past that. There is a warmth in her eyes, and there is a warmth in his tone as they look at each other. I hate that I love this, but I do. I don't want to see the aviator Adonis dumped, but also I love this. So after that lunch, she goes back to Chase to tell him that she needs to leave. I don't think she's leaving because she wants Richard, but Richard seems to be the only person who has told her the full truth. She could tell straight away that he wasn't gaslighting her. Also, she makes that comment again that she doesn't know why she resents Chase. She's like, when you don't have your memory, you only have your feelings. The only thing I feel is resentment. I don't really know why, but I know that I feel that way towards him. Well, Chase takes this all in stride. He doesn't really know what the conversation was like with Richard. He doesn't know that Richard and Maggie kissed. So he sets her up at this house, that apparently he bought when they first moved out to the vineyard. She's super happy. He's bringing in all her luggage. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Chase. Well, he starts to want to reminisce a little, Maggie, when I bought this house back when, and she's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not old Maggie, so I don't really care. She don't say it, but she definitely says it like, yeah, that sounds like wife talk. I'm not really your wife, so I'll see you around. Thanks for the free house, honey. Speaking of free houses, cousin Robin is out wearing her welcome. Melissa comes home one day after hard days of doing nothing, only to find baby Joseph finger painting in the living room. Now she gets upset because he doesn't need to be in the living room finger painting. I get upset because his finger paints are as deep as like Play-Doh jars. I'm like, damn, that's a lot. That's a great value for finger paint. I'm also thoroughly impressed that this 3 to 4 year old has spilled absolutely none of the paint on the carpet. He is Picasso. He is absolutely being an artiste, while cousin Robin sits on the couch wolfing down a Granny Smith apple. Melissa's so pissed that she yells for one of the other house servants to come and fetch this kid. And then she reprimands cousin Robin for not being more responsible. You know better than to let him paint in here. Robin's like, yeah, I guess I do. She gets up, she starts to saunter off, looks over her shoulders and like, men are just like little boys. Let them have whatever they want and they're putty in your hands. Girl, bye. So Melissa looks back at her and says, did you sleep with my husband when I was in prison for 3 weeks? You were in prison, girl. You were in the county. Robin turns around and she's like, well, what kind of person do you think I am? I mean, although I did learn to seduce men from you, but is that the kind of person you think I am? And then she has a sort of slow smile spread across her face and she takes another wolf bite out of the apple. Cousin, we've got to do something about this. Robin is boring me to tears. There is nothing seductive about her. There's nothing interesting about her. She's literally only said like 40 words since she's been on camera. We got to figure this out. She has a moment where she actually sheds tears a little later in the episode, but Robin's weird and very uninteresting. She's only there to piss off Melissa. I think they brought in Robin to add a little more scandal. And then on this episode, it seems like they brought in Robin to continue to put the wedge between Melissa and Cole so that Melissa can turn her head and look elsewhere, i.e. past the panty droppers. Speaking of which, with Mel being fresh out of jail, no longer on bail, enter the community service portion of her prison sentence. She has to go to this halfway house and spend at least 10 hours a week there talking to the girls, hopefully not giving them bad advice. Everyone on the show seems to be reminding Melissa of what a baddie she is. And like, girl, you need to contain that. Please don't be teaching these little girls how to be baddies when they grow up. But 10 hours, I'm like, this girl don't spend 10 hours anywhere. She's got to figure it out there. So that was part of her agreement, part of her being released. As the woman who runs a halfway house is explaining to her what her duties are going to be, wouldn't you know it, Father Christopher comes waltzing up. He walks right up to them and he goes, excuse me, can you point me to, he looks at his paper, Melissa Giaberti, the head of the halfway house, is pleased. She's ready to say, oh yeah, this is her. But before she can even open her mouth, Melissa's like, that's me. Hi, I'm Father Christopher. I've been assigned to help you out. She's like, isn't that rich? So he's all smirky dirky. The head of the halfway house excuses herself. And Melissa's like, now how am I supposed to trust you? You're the same guy who was stirring up all the trouble on my vineyard. He tries to explain, I didn't stir up trouble. I'm also a chaplain and all of the workers. That's my job. I was just doing my job. I was like, well, listen, I've already talked to a psychiatrist for my mental health needs. I really don't want to talk to you. He goes, well, listen, I know you got a lot going on. I've heard all about what you got going on. You know, I'm here to help. You ever want to talk? I'm here. She scoffs like, yeah, I bet you have. You've heard a whole lot about me, huh? That I'm all rotten and evil. He says, nobody with eyes like that can be all bad. Father, are you hitting on me? He claims he can see the pain behind her eyes, which, yeah, that's cute. You got to reword that a different way, sir. Especially if you're tall, dark, and handsome and you're looking down as you're speaking to her, that's going to be interpreted a certain way to a baddie like Melly Mouth, especially one that I now know wanted to secretly get with her father-in-law. So the stage is set. It's also time for Father Christopher to meet a couple other people. He's on his way back to Falcon Crest. But meanwhile, at Falcon Crest, we see the other heartthrob on the show. Mr. Lance Compson, a.k.a. Lorenzo Lamas, he is chilling poolside in a Speedo and a robe, watching Aunt Terry swim laps around Angela's pool. No sooner than they get good and comfortable, Angela comes out. As they're making out, she has the guy from the publishing company there, the one who's in charge now that Maggie has amnesia and Lance has been removed from the position. Angela sends Terry on her way and tells Lance to get his ass out of the pool. We got to talk. Now, mind you, Lance flipped over into the pool with a robe on and a Speedo, so he should be sopping wet. By the time he and Terry get out of the pool, Terry's still a little bit damp. He is all but dry. But it's an opportunity for him to disrobe so we can all notice he's wearing a Speedo. And then he puts on a terry cloth robe. Angela threatens or promises him that he can be the head of the Globe again. He tells her he doesn't want to do it. That's the whole reason that old guy is there from the Globe. I really want you back. You're a great boss. Lance is like, I'm not interested. I'm only interested in banging women I have no emotional connection with, i.e. Terry, who's over there seductively drying herself off. Well, right about this time, Father Bobby comes bopping up, and so does Father Christopher. Angela introduces everyone to him. Hi, guys, this is Father Christopher. He's from back east. Blah, blah, blah. Lance, meet Father Christopher. They shake hands. How do you do? How do you do? Blah, blah, blah. Emma's already outside. Lance says, welcome to the valley. Father Christopher says, yes, you have beautiful surroundings. Not everybody in your valley does, though. Some of them don't even have indoor plumbing. Angela goes, oh my God, that's appalling. I had no idea. I'll get right on that. Emma says, Mama, now you know dang well you've known these people didn't have walls, dirt floors, or indoor plumbing for years. Just blowing up Angela's spot. But it's very clear that Angela does not want to look bad in front of Christopher. She goes, well, that will be rectified immediately. Father Christopher, would you like to continue talking inside? He's like, I'd love to. I have a couple more things I want to bring to your attention. So when he walks into the house, Emma and Lance are looking at each other like, wow, that was weird. Emma's going on about how gorgeous he is. Lance is like, wow, he's been here 14 seconds and he's got Angela wrapped around his finger. That's crazy. They still don't know the relationship was what it is. Angela does tell Father Bobby at some point that Christopher isn't just an orphan. He's actually her grandkid. Father Bobby's like, girl, why didn't you tell me this from the beginning? This is incredibly awkward. You know you got to tell him, right? She's like, I know. I'm going to get to it. I just need to figure out how I'm going to say it before things get weird. Complications are rising everywhere. Maggie is somehow, what's the word? She's drawn to Richard more and more. He comes over to visit her. They take a walk around that pond that they like to feature so much on this show, which, I mean, it's not even that good of a pond, but I guess they need to. It's the only body of water they have. Richard comes over to keep Maggie company, chat with her. They have a really great long walk. Richard is flanked with bodyguards. Maggie's like, do you really think I'm going to try to hurt you? He's like, nah, somebody is. I know it's not you. And she starts looking into his eyes more and more. She says, you know what, Richard? I don't remember you, but I like you. I don't care what people say about you. I don't care if someone's trying to kill you. There's just something about you, pal, that I like. And he's like, oh, I got you fooled. They're very cute. They go walking back up to the house just as the aviator Adonis pulls up in his silver GMC. Now, I know what he did. He went home and he took a bath. He put on his finest cologne. He got rid of the dad vest, unbuttoned 8 of the 10 buttons on his shirt, and showed up in his finest pair of aviators. He wanted her to get a good look at him in the light of day when he's coiffed up or whatever. He brings over a box. I'm sure he didn't just have the need to bring that over all of a sudden. But he brings over a box to Maggie's. Now, unfortunately, his timing sucks. As he's walking to the yard, he just shouts out to the guy standing in the yard, where's my wife? To which the man in the yard, who is one of Richard's bodyguards, responds, who are you? Now, the power of deduction would tell us if a man comes storming up to a home that you do not own, that you are only watching, and he says, where is my wife? That man is the blank of the woman in the house. What is he? You got it. Well, the bodyguard didn't have to answer because next thing you know, Richard comes limping up with Maggie. Maggie is not happy to see Chase. Chase is not happy to see Richard. Richard is mildly neutral. He don't really want no smoke. He sees Chase. He's like, hey, I'm going to let y'all go Hope everything works out. No, you stay right there. Chase is pissed. He wants to go off on him. Maggie's like, I'm not going to stand here while you go off on him. Give me my box of tings. I'm going in the house. Chase makes his threats. Richard just sort of looks at him like, if I want her, I'm going to have her. She already wants me. That's the problem. You don't need to worry about if I want her. You need to worry about if she wants me. None of this is said. This is all body language, okay? Chase remains bothered for the rest of the episode. Someone else who's equally bothered is bad girl Melly Mel, and for the right reason. You see, she's been going on and on for the past several months about her cousin Robin. Robin is no good. Robin has ulterior motives. Robin is a threat, but Robin is also pregnant. So, one night, Cole is in his study or the living room or whatever. Seems like they have a desk in the living room. He's reading the paper half-heartedly. Robin comes slinking down the stairs with a button-down shirt and her panties. We don't see the drawers, by the grace of God. She comes slinking down the stairs, almost like she's seen a ghost. She walks into the study living room. Cole barely acknowledges her presence. Do you need something? No. Once she realizes that he's not looking at her, she decides to turn on her heels, but you can tell she's obviously upset about something. He catches wind of the tone in her voice, stands up and approaches her, and she tells him that she just felt the baby kick. He gets so excited. Oh my God, this is wonderful. Oh, Melissa and I are going to take such good care of this baby. And Robin's like, well, listen, up until now, this was just something I was doing, but I felt the baby kick. I'm going to give birth to this baby, and then I'm going to have to give it away. I don't know if I can do that. Very real. Very, very real. I hate that it's taken this long for her to realize that. It didn't seem like that was ever going to work to me. You need like a real surrogate, not your cousin, and it's your cousin's baby. Why would she give up the baby? Cole goes to comfort her. Sure enough, bad girl Melly Mel comes strutting into the room to see them all hugged up on each other. Now, honestly, it didn't look that bad. This looked like a regular hug, not the embrace of lovers. Melissa don't give a damn. All she sees is her bed-hopping cousin Robin with her hands all over her husband, man. She proceeds to go off. She runs over. She pushes Robin up against the wood-paneled wall. Cole is immediately disgusted. How dare you do that to her? She needs me more than you do right now. Melissa just breaks down. She starts hooping and hollering. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, gotta kind of make this quick. This is a bit part. I feel like it'll blow up next couple of episodes. Richard knows that someone is still trying to kill him. He doesn't know who it is, but he decides to play sort of a whodunit to set up everybody. So in a couple weeks, Tuscany Downs is going to reopen, and Richard's going to have this press conference where he's going to finger the actual culprit, whoever it is who's been trying to shoot him. And since he doesn't know who it is, his plan is to make all these announcements so that whoever is trying to kill him is aware of his whereabouts, and they try to do it again. And because he's inviting everybody, it's sort of a process of elimination. So step number 1 is to go invite everybody and read their body language, see if they agree to come to the press conference or not. When he goes to Angela's house, she's highly annoyed because she has a very important dinner. She is going to tell Christopher who he really is, and it's not going to be pretty. So when Richard comes stomping in her house talking about, yeah, I know who tried to kill me, and I'm going to tell the whole world at the press conference. She's like, okay, if you know all that, then what are you doing here? Quickly eliminating herself as a culprit, but I mean, who knows? Richard tells her, well, I mean, everybody else is going to be there, Angela. You might want to be there. It's going to be a good look. You don't really know what's going on. Now, here comes the main event. Father Christopher is invited over for dinner. Emma shows up. Lance shows up. They're eating. They're having a good time. They finish all the first courses, blase, blase. They get to the meal. It's time for dessert. And Angela's stomach, no doubt, knots. Says, Charlie, we're going to wait a little bit to serve dessert. Thank you so much. Charlie gracefully bows out. Lance needs to really go hook up with Terry, but he says something else. Angela tells him to sit his little narrow behind down, but got to talk real quick. She goes to tell the story of Julia. She says, Lance, when your mom was really young, things were so different here in the valley. She fell in love with a guy. Fell in love with a guy who was already married. Wasn't the best of times, and she became pregnant. I ended up sending her back east to this covenant that I like to support because, I'm a good Christian woman. And she gave birth to a boy. I made sure that boy was raised, covenant, convent, whatever you call it. Christopher is extremely bright. And it takes him no time to say, wait a minute, you're talking about me. That is the exact same story of my birth. And Lance is like, wait, what? Now, this is perfect timing because Emma is still eyeballing this boy like he's a whole snack. Girl, that is your nephew. That is your nephew, just like Lance is your nephew. And Angela says as much. She says, look at each other. Can't you tell you're half brothers? Ah, yeah, now that you say it out loud. Yeah. Well, Lance is like, wow, that's weird. Emma's like, okay, that makes sense. I knew something was up. I knew something was weird about her going out like that. But Christopher is distraught. He's like, you mean to tell me you gave me a way to be raised in a church when I had a family? You made me an orphan when I had a real family? This is too much. He tries to get up and make a scene and leave, but he's too damn polite. Like, this is too much for me. You went from being Mrs. Angela Channing to just calling you Angela to calling you grandma all in one night. It's more than I can bear. I have my faith in the Lord. Now I don't know what I believe. I gotta go. He tries to storm out, but he's too polite. Like I said, he turns around and he says, good evening, Mrs. Channing, and leaves. Lance leaves too. He seems like, oh, I mean, okay, worse things have happened. But Emma says, Mom, how could you keep this sort of thing? She can't believe that Julia would go along with this. She don't realize that Julia don't know. I'm not sure if that was very clear, but it seems like that was her question. How did this happen? And does Julia know? Because I can't really imagine her going through this. Father Christopher tries to go back to his house to collect himself. He's just had the most life-altering information ever dropped on his head. He starts going upstairs. Melissa Gioberti comes bursting in. I've been looking everywhere for you. I'm ready to talk. I'm so distraught, Father, please. And he's like, Melissa. Not really a good time. Feeling a little delicate today. She ain't trying to hear it. She immediately falls into his arms, and he's trying to do the right thing. Just hug her and embrace her and comfort her through his discomfort. End scene. I gotta tell you, I was not expecting them to reveal this quickly. Honestly, I think something is revving up between Melissa and him very, very quickly. He's already sort of not necessarily denounced his faith, but he's at least questioning it at this point. He's got to make some choices. Now, how they're going to tie this all together, I'm not really sure. Because Anna could very well say, I didn't know that girl was pregnant. I know she was with my mama. I didn't know she was pregnant. Even if she did, oh well. I would have never. She can deny the whole thing, but her leg being damaged as she was outside of the house when the fire crew or the rescue guy showed up makes a lot of sense if she set the fire because it probably just got away from her. I don't know. And if it was started at the bottom of the stairs, that makes a whole lot of sense. Man, oh man. Good times are coming, y'all. I can feel it in my bones. I hope you'll join me next time as we jump back into another fantastic vintage episode. It will be episode 3 of either Dynasty or Dallas. Remember, you can always drop me a line in the show notes via text, or you can send me an email at soaplorepodcast@gmail.com. That's soaplorepodcast@gmail.com. In the meantime, in between time, stay hydrated, stay moisturized, keep a billionaire boy toy on your payroll. It will pay dividends. Mind your business and keep all of your drama on TV.